The stars answered their cry, with humanity's deadliest warriors. Ships that had once floated proudly in the atmosphere were now burning wrecks, their pieces falling like shooting stars. Everywhere there was fear. On the planet's capital, a woman named Selena walked through the ruins. Her long, silver hair was messy, her uniform torn. She held her small child close to her chest. The child, no more than 5 years old, clung tightly to her, eyes wide with fear. Selena's people had fought for generations against the empire that now burned their homes. But the empire was larger, stronger, and more merciless than anyone had expected. "We won't last the night," Selena whispered to herself. She looked at the horizon, where the enemy ships moved like dark predators. There were too many of them. The city's defense systems had failed, and the soldiers who remained were exhausted. Even the strongest fighters could not stop the enemy's advance. In a hidden bunker beneath the city, the leaders of the alien coalition gathered. Their faces were pale, their hands shaking. One of them, a man named Torin, slammed his fist on the table. "We have to send the signal," he said. "It is our last chance." Another leader, a woman named Lyra, shook her head. "Who would hear us? No one has answered in centuries. Our call will drift into space, lost forever." "We have no choice," Torin said. He turned to the others. "If we die here, our worlds are gone. If we do not send this message, our people will vanish. We must hope someone somewhere is listening." The room was silent. For a moment, the only sound was the hum of the failing generators. Then Lyra nodded slowly. "Prepare the signal, send everything, every detail of our situation, every map, every warning." For hours they worked. The signal was powerful and complex. It was meant to reach far beyond their system, beyond the known borders of space. It carried a message of desperation and hope. It told the truth about their enemies, their losses, and the need for help. It was a cry for aid, written not in words alone, but in the patterns of energy that only advanced civilizations could read. As the signal left their planet, Selena watched from a rooftop. The sky was dark with smoke, but stars were visible beyond it. She whispered to her child, "Maybe someone will hear us, maybe someone will come." She did not know if her words were true. She only knew that she had to hope. Far away, on a small planet called Earth, the signal was finally noticed. In a large control center, a young officer named Paul Mason stared at the blinking screen in disbelief. The message was not human. Its patterns were unlike anything he had seen. His colleague, Lisa Grant, came over, leaning close to the screen. "What is it?" she asked. Her eyes were wide. "I don't know," Paul said. "It's not just a signal, it's a cry. Someone is asking for help." They ran the message through every translator and analyzer they had. Slowly, the meaning became clear. A civilization was under attack, and it was on the brink of destruction. Paul rubbed his eyes. "This is serious. If they fall, it will be a massacre." Lisa nodded. "We have to tell the council. They need to know immediately." In the council chamber, discussions were tense. Leaders argued. Some thought Earth should stay out of it. "This is not our fight," one leader said. "We do not know these beings. We do not even know if they are worth helping." Another leader, a man named Kevin Brooks, shook his head. "Look at the message. Look at the desperation. Would we ignore it if we were them? Our own history teaches us that sometimes we must act even when it is dangerous. Sometimes the right thing is also the hardest thing." Mary Collins, a senior strategist, spoke next. "We are strong. We have trained warriors, soldiers who can face impossible odds. If we answer this call, we can make a difference. We can save lives." The debate continued late into the night. Outside, the stars shone cold and bright, indifferent to the struggles below. Yet somewhere among them, a signal traveled across light years, carrying hope and fear, carrying the fate of a people who had little time left. While the council debated, Selena and her people fought to survive. In the streets, she helped an old man move debris to rescue trapped children. She ran from building to building, risking her life with each step. She did not stop to think about what might come from the distant stars. She only knew her duty: protect those who could not protect themselves. That night, the enemy made another assault. Fire and smoke filled the air. Selena fired her weapon, striking down attackers, but for every one she defeated, more came. She ducked as a ship crashed near her, debris scattering everywhere. She shouted to her child to stay low, covering her as best she could. Deep in the bunker, the leaders monitored the signal. It was on its way, moving faster than any thought possible. Yet none of them knew who, if anyone, would respond. Torin's hand shook as he watched the screens. "Please," he whispered, "please answer us." On Earth, the message reached Paul and Lisa. They stared at the screens, knowing that humanity had a choice. They could ignore the signal and focus on their own safety, or they could act, sending humans into the unknown to save a civilization they had never met. "We can't just sit here," Lisa said finally. "They need us. If we do nothing, they die. And if they die, who knows what else will fall next?" Paul nodded, determination rising in him. "Prepare the files, alert the council, tell them humans are ready. If someone is out there, we will go. We will answer the call." That night, Selena looked up at the stars once more. She did not know that far away, humans were reading her plea. She did not know that hope, small and fragile, had begun to grow across the galaxy. And somewhere among the thousands of stars, a human ship would soon be prepared to leave its home planet, carrying warriors who had trained their whole lives to face impossible odds. They did not know the aliens. They did not know the enemies. But they knew one thing: when someone cried for help, humanity answered. For Selena and her people, the night passed with more fear than sleep. Yet unknowingly, help was on the way. A distant planet, filled with humans who were both fearless and careful, would soon enter their story. The first spark of hope was lit, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. Part 2 on Earth. The council met again in the large chamber. The walls were filled with screens showing stars, maps, and data from across the galaxy. Paul Mason and Lisa Grant stood at the front, explaining everything they knew about the signal. Their voices were steady, but their faces showed the weight of the situation. "This civilization is near destruction," Paul said. "Their cities are burning, their fleets are destroyed. We have the chance to help before it is too late." Some leaders looked unconvinced. "We do not know their enemies," one said. "Sending humans could start a war we are not ready for. We have to think carefully." Kevin Brooks leaned forward. "We are humans. We have survived worse. We know how to fight when all odds are against us. Yes, we do not know them. Yes, it could be dangerous. But if we do nothing, they die. And if they die, it is a loss for the galaxy. Someone has to act." Mary Collins added, "We have warriors trained for the impossible, soldiers who can go into dangerous situations and come out alive when most would fail. This is our chance to use our strength for something that matters." The debate went on for hours. Finally, after much discussion, the council made a decision. Humanity would respond, not with diplomats, not with words, but with soldiers. Warriors would be sent to help the aliens fight for survival. Preparations began immediately. Paul and Lisa worked with the military to select the best teams. Names were called, and soldiers from different units were chosen. People like Jonathan Harris, a calm and clever strategist, and Claire Evans, a soldier known for her speed and precision, were selected. Others included Ryan Wells, a heavy weapons expert, and Sarah Young, a pilot who could maneuver any ship through the tightest spaces. Every team member knew the mission was dangerous. Many had trained for years for situations like this, but none had faced an unknown enemy so far from home. Still, they all shared one thought: if someone needed help, humanity would go. Meanwhile, Selena and her people continued to fight for survival. The Empire's ships circled the planet, dropping more troops and weapons. Selena moved from street to street, helping wherever she could. She led children to hidden shelters, carried supplies to those trapped in rubble, and guided soldiers to safer positions. Her child, small and scared, followed her every step. "Hold on," she whispered as another ship passed overhead. "We will survive this. We have to survive this." In the command bunker, Torin and Lyra watched the sky, hoping the signal would reach someone. They did not know that on a distant planet, humans were already preparing to respond. Their hope was fragile, but it was all they had. On Earth, soldiers trained and prepared for weeks. They learned about alien weapons, alien tactics, and alien cultures. Everything they could find about this new civilization was studied carefully. Paul and Lisa worked tirelessly, making sure every team member understood the importance of the mission. "We are not just going to fight," Paul reminded them. "We are going to protect lives. We are going to give hope to people who thought all was lost." Lisa added, "Remember, the aliens do not know us. They do not know we are coming to help. You have to earn their trust as well as their safety." The first human ships were loaded with weapons, supplies, and information. Jonathan, Claire, Ryan, and Sarah took their positions. The engines powered up, and soon the ships lifted into the atmosphere. The sky outside Earth was clear, and stars shone brightly. The soldiers stared at them, knowing that somewhere among those stars, lives were waiting for them. During the long journey through space, the soldiers trained constantly. They ran simulations of battles they might face, practiced coordinating with alien units, and studied the alien languages as best as they could. Claire often stayed in the simulation room, guiding others through maneuvers. Ryan worked with heavy weapons, making sure he could handle any alien device. Jonathan studied strategies, trying to predict what the enemy might do. As the human ships neared the alien system, tension grew. The planets they approached were scarred with fire and destruction. Smoke rose into the sky, and the remains of ships floated silently in orbit. Selena watched from the surface, unaware that help was coming. She thought the universe had abandoned them. Then on a distant hill she saw lights moving across the sky. They were unlike any ships of the Empire, sleek, fast, and controlled. She could hardly believe her eyes. "What are those?" one of the soldiers nearby asked. I don't know," Selena said, "but maybe it is hope." The human ships landed carefully near the remaining alien forces. Jonathan, Claire, Ryan, and Sarah led the landing squads. They did not attack first. They observed, moved carefully, and tried to make contact. Selena and her leaders were cautious. They did not trust easily after so many betrayals and defeats. Jonathan stepped forward and raised his hands. "We are here to help," he said in the alien translator device. "We come from a distant planet. We want to protect your people." For a moment, no one moved. Then Torin, who had stayed outside the bunker, stepped forward. "Humans, you actually came?" he asked, his voice shaking. Claire lowered her weapon, showing that they meant no harm. Ryan and Sarah did the same. Soldiers on both sides watched each other carefully. Trust was fragile. One wrong move could start another battle. "We have studied your situation," Jonathan continued. "We know what the Empire has done. We know your people need help. We can fight with you." Selena stepped forward slowly, holding her child. She looked at the humans. They were different from anyone she had seen. Their armor and weapons were strange, but their calm and careful movements showed they were not here to conquer. "Why should we believe you?" she asked. Her voice was quiet but firm. "So many have promised help, and none came." "Because we understand fear," Paul's voice came from a nearby communicator. "We know what it is like to be outnumbered, outgunned, and almost defeated. But we also know what it is like to survive against all odds. We do not promise victory, but we promise we will not leave you." Selena's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in weeks, she felt a small spark of hope. Perhaps they would survive. Perhaps they were not alone. The humans and aliens began working together immediately. They repaired defenses, shared tactics, and organized the remaining soldiers. The humans showed how to use the alien weapons more effectively. They trained small groups to fight together with precision and coordination. Jonathan and Claire led squads through damaged cities, rescuing trapped civilians. Ryan helped clear debris and set up heavy defenses. Sarah flew reconnaissance missions in alien ships, mapping enemy positions and reporting back. Each small success gave the aliens hope. At night, Selena looked at the sky again. The stars seemed brighter now. She whispered to her child, "They came. They really came." She held the child tightly, feeling for the first time that survival was possible. In the Human Command Center, Paul and Lisa monitored the progress. "They are learning fast," Lisa said. "They trust us more than I expected." "It's because we didn't come to conquer," Paul replied. "We came to save. That makes all the difference." The first skirmishes with the Empire began. Humans fought alongside aliens, moving with speed and precision. The Empire did not expect humans. They underestimated the coordination, the careful planning, and the determination of these warriors. Small victories gave the alien forces courage. Selena saw soldiers she had thought were dead rising again, supported by human warriors. Cities that were moments ago falling into chaos now held strong points. The tide was slowly turning, not because of raw power, but because humans and aliens were fighting together as one. Throughout all this, Selena learned to trust Jonathan, Claire, Ryan, and Sarah. They did not demand leadership, but they shared knowledge. They did not push the aliens aside, but they taught them how to survive. Slowly, hope grew, fragile but real, and somewhere in the distance, the stars watched. The humans had answered a cry that had traveled for light years. The galaxy had not ignored it. The first spark of rescue had arrived, and the war, though far from over, had taken its first turn toward survival. Part 3. The sun rose slowly over the ruined cities. Smoke still hung in the sky, but the streets were quieter now. Selena walked with her child through one of the safer zones, where humans and aliens worked side by side. She saw soldiers training together, building barricades and sharing supplies. It was the first time she had seen her people move without fear in weeks. Jonathan led a group of aliens through an abandoned building. They were learning quickly how to defend themselves, how to fight as a unit. Jonathan watched carefully, correcting mistakes, giving clear instructions, and encouraging them. The aliens listened. For the first time, they felt that survival was possible. Claire moved through the streets with a small squad. She showed them how to use their weapons efficiently, how to move quietly, and how to protect civilians while fighting. The soldiers began to see the humans not just as strangers, but as allies who would not leave them behind. Ryan set up heavy weapons along key points in the city. He trained the aliens to fire quickly, reload safely, and coordinate their attacks. Even the youngest soldiers learned to work together, gaining confidence from the human guidance. Sarah flew above the city in one of the alien craft. Her eyes scanned the horizon constantly, watching for enemy movement. When she spotted a small enemy squad moving through the streets, she reported it immediately. Humans and aliens then coordinated a counterattack. The enemy was caught off guard, and the small squad was defeated without any major losses. In the command bunker, Torin and Lyra watched the humans with growing respect. They had feared outsiders would take control, but these humans did not demand authority. They taught, guided, and protected. Slowly, the alien leaders began to trust them. "They are different from anyone we have known," Lyra said. "They do not fight for glory, they fight to protect." Torin nodded. "And they are deadly when they fight. See how quickly they act, how carefully they plan. They are the warriors we hoped for." As the days passed, humans and aliens began organizing larger operations. Small villages were liberated, supply routes reopened, and defensive positions strengthened. Selena watched soldiers she had thought lost rejoin the fight. Her people's morale improved with each small victory. Hope was no longer a dream, it was becoming reality. One morning, Jonathan called a meeting with Selena and her leaders. "We need to strike back at the Empire," he said. "We cannot just defend." "We must take action to protect your people completely." Selena hesitated. "We are few, they are many. How can we fight them directly?" Claire spoke calmly. "We fight smart. We use speed, strategy, and knowledge. We do not need to match them in numbers." "We only need to hit where it hurts most," Ryan added. "We have weapons and tactics you may not know. If we work together, we can surprise them and win." With careful planning, a new mission was set. Humans and aliens would work together to reclaim a strategic outpost the Empire had captured. It was risky but necessary. Selena agreed, trusting the humans' judgment. The team moved at night, using shadows and quiet routes. Sarah flew ahead to scout enemy positions. Jonathan coordinated with alien squads, directing movements and covering points of attack. Claire led the strike team, moving swiftly and silently. Ryan carried heavy weapons, ready to protect the team if needed. As they approached the outpost, they saw the Empire's soldiers patrolling carelessly. They underestimated the humans and their alien allies. One wrong step for the enemy would mean disaster, and the humans were ready. Jonathan signaled to the squad. Everyone moved at the same time, quickly and efficiently. Humans and aliens struck together, disabling weapons, capturing key points, and clearing the outpost. The Empire's forces were confused, unprepared for such coordinated attacks. Within hours, the outpost was under their control. Selena watched from a nearby hill. Her people cheered quietly, not wanting to draw attention, but she could see the pride in their faces. Humans had shown them that it was possible to fight back. They had turned fear into action, despair into hope. After the mission, Jonathan addressed the combined forces. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We will face bigger battles, stronger enemies, and harder challenges, but together, humans and aliens can survive anything. Remember, we fight to protect, not to conquer. We fight to keep hope alive." Over the next few weeks, the humans continued training and guiding the aliens. They built defenses, planned attacks, and rescued civilians trapped behind enemy lines. Selena often joined them, learning their strategies and helping her people. She grew stronger each day, inspired by the humans' determination and courage. One day, while scouting with Sarah, Selena saw a group of children hiding in a ruined building. They were scared and hungry. Selena motioned for Sarah to stay low while they approached. Quietly, they helped the children out and brought them to safety. It was a small act, but it showed how humans and aliens could protect even the weakest among them. In the command bunker, Torin and Lyra continued to watch. I have never seen anything like this, Torin said. Humans are more than soldiers. They are teachers, guides, and protectors. They do not just fight, they lead by example. Lyra nodded. And our people are learning fast. With them, we may actually survive this war. The Empire noticed the change quickly. Their soldiers were being defeated in ways they had not expected. Small strikes and coordinated attacks made them cautious. They realized that the humans were not ordinary fighters. Their tactics, discipline, and calm under pressure were unlike anything they had faced before. Back in the city, Selena trained with her people. She showed them how to move together, watch each other's backs, and use the new strategies taught by the humans. Children and adults alike learned quickly, inspired by the humans' skill and bravery. Hope was no longer fragile, it was growing stronger each day. One evening, Jonathan, Claire, Ryan, and Sarah gathered with Selena and other alien leaders. They discussed the next steps. We need to take back more territory, Jonathan said. We cannot just defend, we have to weaken the Empire before they can strike again. Claire agreed. And we must do it carefully. Our goal is to protect people, not destroy them unnecessarily. Precision and planning are key. Ryan added, we also need to prepare for counterattacks. The Empire will not stay still for long. Selena looked at the humans. She felt trust, respect, and hope. We are ready, she said. Teach us everything. We will fight with you. For the first time in months, the aliens felt that victory was possible. Humans had shown them that strength was not just about numbers or weapons, but about courage, planning, and working together. They had turned a hopeless situation into one where survival and even triumph was possible. As the sun set over the ruined city, Selena and her child looked at the stars. They did not feel fear. They felt determination. Humans had come, and with them, hope had returned. And far above, in orbit and beyond, the human ships waited, ready to continue their mission. Every soldier, pilot, and strategist knew that this was only the beginning. The Empire was strong, but they would not break the humans or their allies. Together they would fight, survive, and prove that hope could shine even in the darkest times. The first real victories had been won, but the war was far from over. The humans were no longer strangers. They were warriors, teachers, and protectors. And with them, the aliens had found their strength again. The stars above seemed brighter that night, as if they recognized the courage and determination of those below. Humanity had answered a cry for help, and now the galaxy would see what these warriors could do. Part 4. The Empire was angry. Their patrols reported lost outposts, damaged ships, and soldiers captured or defeated. The commanders could not understand how such a small group of humans and aliens could challenge them so effectively. They were used to fear and surrender, not careful planning and courage. In the Empire's central command, General Kale slammed his fist on the table. "How is this possible?" he shouted. "We have numbers, weapons, and experience. Yet these humans and their alien allies continue to win, crush them, destroy them, and make an example." His officers looked uneasy. They knew the humans were different. Reports spoke of calm, precise attacks, rescue missions, and soldiers who did not retreat. Humans fought with skill and patience, not recklessness. General Kale did not like what he heard. Humans were unpredictable, and unpredictability scared him. Back on the alien world, Selena and her people worked tirelessly. They repaired broken defenses, trained soldiers, and moved supplies to safer areas. Jonathan and Claire led groups on strike missions, targeting enemy supply lines and command posts. Ryan set up heavier defenses, preparing for inevitable counterattacks, and Sarah continued her reconnaissance flights, mapping enemy positions with precision. One morning, Jonathan gathered the leaders and soldiers. "The Empire will respond," he said. "We have won small battles, but now they will try to crush us. We must be ready," Selena nodded. "We will not let them break us. We have hope, and that is stronger than fear." The humans planned carefully. They studied enemy movement, analyzed weaknesses, and set traps in key locations. The aliens learned quickly. Torin and Lyra coordinated with Jonathan and Claire, adjusting strategies, setting patrols, and preparing for surprises. When the Empire struck, it was with force. Hundreds of ships moved into orbit, dropping troops and weapons across the planet. Explosions shook the cities, and fire spread across the plains. The aliens and humans held their positions, using every tactic they had learned. Ryan manned a heavy cannon on the city walls. He fired carefully, hitting enemy transports and scattering soldiers. Aliens behind him cheered as their own new skills allowed them to aim and move with efficiency. Jonathan moved through the streets, coordinating teams and directing attacks. Each squad knew their task and executed it perfectly. Claire led a rescue team into a collapsed building. Enemy soldiers were searching for survivors, but the humans and their alien allies moved quietly, finding civilians and guiding them to safety. Selena held her child close as they passed, whispering, "We will survive. We must." Sarah flew above, calling out positions and enemy movements. She spotted an elite enemy squad preparing to flank human and alien positions. She guided Jonathan and Claire to intercept them before they could strike. Together, humans and aliens struck with speed and precision, taking down the squad with minimal losses. In the command bunker, Torin and Lyra watched the battle unfold. They were amazed. The humans were not just fighting, they were teaching, guiding, and protecting. Alien soldiers moved with new confidence, trusting the humans completely. For the first time, they felt the Empire could be challenged. "They are incredible," Torin said. "Not only do they fight, but they inspire. Look at our soldiers, they fight like we never imagined." Lyra nodded. "And our people are learning fast. With them we may survive this war." The Empire's General Kale grew frustrated. His forces were larger, yet human-led squads seemed to predict his every move. He ordered more ships, more soldiers, and more weapons. But the humans adapted. They studied the enemy's patterns, set ambushes, and used the terrain to their advantage. Every attack the Empire made was met with a counterattack that was faster and smarter. One night, Jonathan and Claire led a strike team deep into enemy territory. Their mission was to disable a key communication tower. The tower controlled enemy ships in orbit, and if destroyed, it would give humans and aliens a major advantage. They moved silently through the darkness, avoiding patrols and security systems. Selena's small group helped by guiding the team through hidden paths. Children and civilians hid in safe zones as humans and aliens carried out the mission. Ryan and Sarah provided support, ready to intercept any enemy reinforcements. The team reached the tower. Jonathan planted explosives while Claire and alien soldiers stood guard. The explosion shook the ground, and the tower collapsed, cutting off enemy communications. Chaos spread among the Empire's forces. Ships in orbit hesitated, soldiers on the ground panicked, and the humans and aliens gained a critical advantage. Back in the city, Selena watched the effects of the strike. Alien soldiers cheered, feeling a strength they had never known. Humans moved quickly to secure strategic positions, setting up defenses and helping rebuild damaged areas. Every action gave hope, showing that even in the darkest times, victory was possible. The Empire responded with fury. Ships bombarded the planet, and elite soldiers moved in to reclaim lost positions. Humans and aliens fought back, side by side. Jonathan directed squads with calm precision, Claire led attacks, Ryan fired heavy weapons, and Sarah provided aerial support. The aliens fought with new courage, inspired by humans who never hesitated, never retreated. In the chaos, Selena saw acts of bravery everywhere. A young soldier saved trapped civilians despite heavy fire. Children helped each other to safety, guided by alien and human leaders. Every life saved was a small victory, every defensive success a reminder that hope had returned. After days of fighting, the humans and aliens managed to push back the Empire's forces. Cities were damaged, but they remained under Allied control. The Empire's soldiers had learned to fear these humans. Their tactics, patience, and courage had made them unpredictable, deadly, and unstoppable when determined. Jonathan gathered the leaders again. "We cannot stop now," he said. "The Empire will return. They will try harder, strike faster, and use more troops. We must continue to adapt, train, and protect. We fight not just to survive, but to ensure our people live." Selena nodded. "We will follow you, teach us everything. We are ready." Over the next weeks, humans continued training alien soldiers, guiding them and improving defenses. They built supply networks, improved communications, and strengthened positions. Small victories kept hope alive. Every mission, every successful defense, reminded the aliens that they were not alone. One evening, as the sun set over the cities, Jonathan, Claire, Ryan, and Sarah met with Selena and her leaders. They discussed plans for larger operations, ways to reclaim more territory, and how to keep civilians safe. Selena felt stronger, inspired by humans who were fearless, careful, and dedicated to protecting life. "You have changed everything," Torin said to the humans. "Our people no longer live in fear. They fight with courage and they trust you completely. You have given us hope when we thought it was gone." Jonathan smiled. "We came to help. We will stay until your people are safe. Together we can survive, and we can fight back stronger than ever." As night fell, the stars shone brightly. The humans had proven themselves not just as fighters, but as teachers, guides, and protectors. The Empire had learned that underestimating them was a deadly mistake. The war was far from over, but hope had returned to the aliens. They were no longer alone, and with humans by their side, survival seemed possible. Selena held her child close and looked up at the stars. She whispered, "They came when we needed them most. Maybe, just maybe, we will live." The humans watched the horizon from their positions. Every soldier knew the battles ahead would be harder, but they also knew they had made a difference. Their presence had changed the course of the war. Together with the aliens, they would continue to fight, protect, and survive. The Empire had been warned. Humanity's warriors were not ordinary soldiers. They were precise, fearless, and unstoppable when determined. The stars had answered the cry for help, and their answer was deadly, protective, and full of hope. And somewhere far away, beyond the clouds and fire, the universe seemed to pause, as if watching the courage of humans and aliens who refused to surrender. Part 5. The Empire was desperate. After repeated defeats, their soldiers had lost morale, their ships were damaged, and their leaders were frustrated. They could not understand how a small number of humans, working with aliens, could resist such a vast force. General Kale paced in his command room, anger and fear on his face. "We cannot let this continue," he shouted. "We must strike with everything we have, destroy their defenses, capture their leaders, and make them regret ever fighting." His officers were uneasy. They had lost so many battles to humans who fought with strategy, patience, and precision. The humans were not reckless. They calculated every move, adapted to every situation, and inspired their allies. The Empire had never faced warriors like these. On the planet, Selena moved among her people. Her city, though scarred by battle, was alive with energy. Humans and aliens worked together to repair buildings, distribute food, and care for the wounded. Jonathan led training sessions, showing alien soldiers how to anticipate enemy attacks and defend strategically. Claire ran combat drills, teaching soldiers to fight in teams, cover each other, and protect civilians. Ryan improved defensive positions, making walls and barricades stronger, while Sarah flew constant reconnaissance missions to spot enemy movements before they could strike. The humans did not just fight, they taught, guided, and inspired. Selena saw her people transform. Those who had cowered in fear weeks ago now moved with purpose, courage, and determination. Children learned basic survival skills, and adults felt empowered to protect their families and homes. Hope had returned, and it was stronger than ever. One morning, Jonathan called a meeting with alien leaders. "We have weakened the Empire's supply lines, disrupted their communication, and reclaimed lost territory," he said. "Now, we can strike their main base. It will be dangerous, but it is the key to ending this war." Selena nodded. "We are ready. We will fight beside you. We have learned much, and we will not fail now." Claire added, "We must move carefully. The Empire expects us to attack recklessly. We will use that against them. Precision and timing are everything." Ryan studied the maps. "Their base is heavily defended, but we have the advantage of surprise. If we coordinate perfectly, we can succeed with minimal losses." The humans and aliens planned the attack for days. Every squad had a role, every movement was calculated, and every civilian was placed in a safe zone. Sarah flew reconnaissance, noting guard rotations and weak points in defenses. Jonathan and Claire trained their teams repeatedly, ensuring everyone knew their tasks. Finally, the day came. At dawn, humans and aliens moved toward the Empire's main base. The Empire's soldiers were confident, expecting another small skirmish. They did not anticipate the precision, coordination, and determination of the combined forces. Jonathan led the main strike team. Aliens flanked from one side, humans from another. Ryan provided heavy support, taking out enemy weapons and vehicles. Claire guided squads through the perimeter, disabling traps and securing key positions. Sarah moved in the air, giving live updates and taking out enemy reinforcements before they could intervene. Selena watched from a hill with her people. She held her child close, hoping for their safety and praying that the humans' strategies would succeed. She saw the battle unfold with awe. Humans and aliens moved together like one force, each action coordinated, each attack precise. The Empire fought fiercely. Their soldiers were trained and experienced, but they were no match for the combined skill and courage of humans and aliens. Every attempt to counterattack failed. Humans anticipated every move, adapted quickly, and supported their allies without hesitation. Alien soldiers fought with courage and confidence they had never felt before. After hours of fighting, the main base fell. Explosions shook the ground, and enemy soldiers surrendered or fled. Humans and aliens secured the area, capturing weapons, ships, and resources. The Empire's forces were broken, scattered, and demoralized. Jonathan and Claire stood together, surveying the battlefield. "We have done it," Claire said softly, "but we must stay vigilant. Some may try to regroup." Jonathan nodded. "We will remain here until all civilians are safe and the Empire cannot strike again. Then we help rebuild and ensure peace." Selena moved among her people, guiding them through the aftermath. She saw children smiling for the first time in months, families reunited, and soldiers standing tall with pride. Humans had not only fought for survival, they had given hope, courage, and the knowledge that life could continue even after devastation. Torin and Lyra met with Jonathan and Claire in the command center. "You have done more than we ever imagined," Torin said. "Our people will survive because of you. The Empire will not return here for a long time, if ever." Lyra added, "You have not only fought, you have taught us to believe in ourselves. Our soldiers are stronger now, and our people will remember this forever." Jonathan smiled. "We did what we had to do. Humanity answers cries for help. We do not fight for conquest. We fight to protect, to save lives, and to give hope where there was none." In the following days, humans helped the aliens rebuild their cities. Destroyed buildings were repaired, roads cleared, and supply lines restored. Hospitals were set up, food distributed, and schools reopened. Children played in the streets, and adults returned to their daily lives, all under the guidance and protection of human warriors. Selena walked through the streets, holding her child's hand. She looked around and saw a future she thought had been lost forever. Humans had come when they were needed most. Humans had risked everything to protect lives they did not know. They had taught the aliens courage, strategy, and hope. One evening, as the sun set, Jonathan, Claire, Ryan, and Sarah gathered with Selena and the leaders. They looked at the rebuilt city and the people moving freely once more. "This is why we fight," Jonathan said. "Not for power, not for glory, but so that lives continue." "So that hope survives," Claire added. "The Empire may return someday, but now you are ready. Your people know how to protect themselves, how to fight as one, and how to survive." Ryan smiled. "And we will always be here to help if needed." "Humans do not abandon those who call for help." Selena felt tears in her eyes. "You have changed everything. Our people will never forget. You came across the stars and risked everything for us. We are alive because of you." The stars above shone brighter that night. The universe seemed to recognize the courage and determination of humans and their alien allies. The war was over, and humanity had proven that when they answer a cry for help, they are unstoppable, protective, and full of hope. The Empire was defeated, not through numbers or brute force, but through courage, skill, strategy, and the unity between humans and aliens. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's strength, not in conquest, but in protection. Selena and her child looked at the stars, feeling safe and free for the first time in months. She whispered, "They answered our cry. They really answered." Jonathan and his team prepared to leave the planet, their mission complete. They had saved countless lives, trained a civilization to survive, and left hope behind. Their presence had changed history. Humans were no longer just a distant species. They were warriors, protectors, and friends to those who needed them most. As the human ships lifted off into the night sky, Selena waved, holding her child close. The stars stretched endlessly above them, filled with promise, courage, and the memory of a species that had answered a cry from across the galaxy. And somewhere among those stars, humanity's warriors moved on, ready to answer the next call, to protect the next world, and to carry hope wherever it was needed. The legacy was clear. When the stars cry for help, humanity responds with skill, courage, and the strength to protect all life. Peace settled over the alien world. Fires were extinguished, the Empire had retreated, and survivors began rebuilding their lives. Humans and aliens celebrated quietly, knowing that the bond formed through hardship and battle would last for generations. They had faced impossible odds, yet they had survived together. Selena held her child and smiled. For the first time in months, she felt truly safe. Hope, once a distant dream, had become reality, and she knew that as long as humans answered cries for help across the stars, no world would ever face true despair again. The stars had answered the cry. Humanity's deadliest warriors had arrived. And in doing so, they had reminded the galaxy that courage, protection, and hope were stronger than fear, numbers, or tyranny.